So there's a really important question that came up that was asked. How do you stay high vibe, or how do you stay in a positive state when you're in a low vibrational frequency situation, or in other words, when you're around either people who are negative or in a negative situation, or you're in a challenging situation? So how do you keep yourself in a positive state? So we're going to very briefly look at that today, and we're going to go through some really quick points. So if you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe, to like, and to share with everybody that you know. So I'm going to go through 5 points. Point number 1, I think, is to think long term. So always remember that any situation that you're in is temporary, and the world and life is constantly changing. So sometimes what can happen is when you're in a challenging situation or you're dealing with challenging people, you can get very much stuck in the situation and begin to think that that situation is going to be there forever, and when actually it's not. What will happen is things will change, and reminding yourself that life itself is temporary. Always remember that there's someone who's in a worse off situation than you are, and just bring yourself back to just reminding yourself of really truly what you do have. Also, I think that nobody is given a challenge more than they can actually bear. So whatever you're given is going to be good for you. In each situation that you deal with, there is actually a hidden blessing in that situation, and an opportunity for you to actually grow as a person and learn from each and every challenge that you go through. You know, there's actually a quote that I came across, and it said, thank you. Okay, we met for one of 2 reasons. Either you're a blessing or you're a lesson. So you feel free when you look at somebody to actually think like that, to actually think, are you a blessing or are you a lesson? If they're a blessing, great, enjoy, because that person is going to bring a lot of joy and happiness into your life. And if they're a lesson, then again, sit back and think, what's the lesson? What lesson can I take away from this experience? And how can it allow me to become either wiser or more positive, or to continue to grow? So that's the first point. Second thing that you can do when you're in that situation, okay, so you're in a low vibe situation, but you want to remain high vibe, is you have to remember that it's you, it's not the other person. So sometimes we can blame the situation, so we can become very pointing the finger. Now, if you point a finger at someone, there's another 4 fingers pointed back at you. So it's always thinking about what can you do rather than what can the other person do, or the situation or the experience. Because people go through very, very challenging experiences. People go through real difficulty, in their lives, and you read things and really, I am sorry, because people really do go through very, very tough things. So sometimes the most effective thing you can do in a situation like that is just to work on how you react to each situation you come across, and how you can deal with it in the most effective way possible. So, for example, it can be looking at strategies of how you can continue to stay positive. And there's a lot of things you can do. And probably the last thing you want to be doing is smiling or laughing. But I can tell you that I've come across people who've told me things that they've been through, and you would never know that they've been through what they've been through, because they forced themselves in a situation where they have taken a very positive attitude. So that means that they've always focused on what's good in the situation. So it can be something as simple as them looking at their day and thinking what's good in this day. Even if it's just a case of thinking, I have this thing in my life, and I have water to drink, I have food on the table, small things like that. That's their way of thinking, as opposed to focusing on all the challenging things that are going on. So that's an outlook you can take. And like I said, there are people who have taken the outlook and have surpassed, many challenges they've gone through and grown from it, and have done really, really well in their lives. Despite the fact, that they were told otherwise. I mean, I came across a story of somebody who he had cancer 4 times, and they kept telling him that he was going to die, and he just sort of completely shrugged his shoulders, gone with his life. You meet this individual and he just looks so happy, constantly cracking jokes, constantly smiling, bringing joy to everybody else, and you wouldn't even, if he didn't tell you, you would never know. That's so inspirational, because he took a very different attitude. He could have taken the attitude of, well, I've been told I've got no more time. So really, it's a choice. The third thing you can do is to begin to find yourself a really strong support system. So find yourself like people that you can surround yourself with who are really going to encourage you. Okay, so this can be like groups, it can be people, it can be find like a challenge. So find something that you can do where you're like really proud of yourself that you've done it, something you think you can't do, okay, because that's going to change your state and it's going to alter your focus. So you need to find something where you're like I can never do this, okay, because when you're going through that sort of challenge where you're around that low vibe, okay, what you need to be doing is putting yourself in a situation whereby you're doing something, and then once you achieve that, you start to feel like really proud of yourself, because you're like, I did something which I thought I couldn't do. And this is going to be very different for each person, okay? So you've got to find something which you've always wanted to do, but you thought, I can never do this. Do it, okay? Because it will really, really help you start to grow your confidence back. Because that comes from doing things that you think you can't do. So if you do something that you think you can't, all you're doing is you're just building momentum. You're going to feel better. You're going to look better. And again, that's just going to keep getting you into a more high vibe state. And then you're going to be around people who are going to start saying to you oh, this is amazing, how did you do it, and everyone's going to start encouraging each other, and this really works. So find something. So it could be, I don't know, some people, they have a certain set of books they want to read per year. Some people want to travel, some people want to detox, some people want to lose weight, some people want to set a new challenge whereby they want to start something new in their lives, some people want to find a new person, whatever it is for you. Some people want to move to a different city, there's so many things. So try and find something that is a real challenge, or a new skill, for example, learning a new skill, starting a new path in your life. So that's something really effective. Another thing you can do is, so bearing in mind, so with this whole energy frequencies, okay, so you have an energy body, okay, so your the way every human being is designed, they have an aura around their body, and this aura is constantly being cleansed all the time. So you do have to remember that as well. So I understand that you've got your body, okay, and we try to nourish that, but you have to remember your energy body as well. And everyone has that, and I know that some people can actually see it as well, so they can see how strong it is. So that's something that you really have to take care of, and there are many ways to do that, to sort of strengthen it. So things like spending time in sunshine, don't underestimate that, because even 5 minutes of that will strengthen it. There are other things you can do, like having certain foods which are really high vibe, very positive foods that is good for you and for your body. So always go towards what you're drawn to. Whenever you eat something, think, what food is my body being drawn to, and have that. With time, you'll just know, like certain foods you just like you won't want, and that you have to like really tune into your body to be able to know what is good for you, because sometimes we tend to get used to having like what we're being brought up with having. So like whatever your parents made for you when you were like young, or as you're growing up, you get into a habit of like eating what you eat, and then you take that away and you move out, and then and that's like what you eat, right? So you've got to sort of like begin to sort of go very tune in to yourself and start to think like, what am I drawn to, and have that. Okay, that's going to be very individual to you, so that it's not really one size fits all. I really truly believe that everybody is very, very different. You can't say, they say like, what, 5 a day? It doesn't work for everyone. Or things like, broccoli is good for you. It might not. I mean, I understand that it is good for you, but it's really about what is good for your own body, not what is good for everybody. Because we're all designed very differently. So I truly, truly believe that. So yeah, I hope that has helped you, and please, do remember that whatever circumstance, whatever situation you're in, it will always change, and it will change for the better. And I wish you a very abundant life. As I said, please do subscribe, because that way you'll keep getting the content. Okay, so that's the purpose behind that. And do like and do stay in touch. And I very much look forward to speaking to you in the next video. All the very best to you. Thank you.